I'll talk to girls and they'll tell me what they're looking for in a guy. And basically what they'll describe to me is a man who's been married for 10 years. You don't get that.
Wisdom is able to look at a guy and go, you're saying self-discipline, self-control, integrity, and consistency. You should be able to look at him and go, he's got some stability in his life.
Yeah.
He's committed to things and growing in them.
The only people who don't want kids are people who are children themselves. Like,
children shouldn't have kids.
Yeah. Like, no, I don't want kids. That's responsibility. And you're like, yeah, I guess a child doesn't want more responsibility, doesn't want the responsibility of an adult. Women who are constantly combative or feel like they need to advocate or argue with people all the time. Women who are like that are like that. Married women who are like that are like that because they feel like their husband doesn't represent them.
Howdy and welcome back to Not For Profits, where we preach Jesus to the world wide web of crazy. Today, all important topic, joy, because we want these young people coming to Jesus to also get married. Is marriage important?
We didn't do that. I'm Tom, I'm Joy.
Who are you?
I'm Joy.
I'm glad you're here, Joy. I'm Tom. Have we met?
Yeah.
Why is it so important that people get married?
Because, well, part of it's like our design. We're designed to get married.
God designed us to get married.
That's right. But also it makes us more productive in our Christian walk. But it also can make you a lot less productive if you marry the wrong person.
Oh, so marrying the right person. The command is not just get married no matter what, order somebody online,
How do you
put a
pick the
ring
right
on
person?
the first gal that comes along, say yes to the first dude who asks. It matters.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that. Pete, is marriage just a lifestyle choice?
Is that a question?
It was phrased as a question. Grammatically, it was a question. And intentionally, it was a question.
So what's the question?
How many penguins, is marriage just a lifestyle choice? Like, gee, you're not going to do a whole session on telling us to, buy a Honda instead of a Toyota. Why are you telling us to get married?
It's not a lifestyle choice.
Nah, it's not an option, is it?
Yeah. It's just like a part of being a human being. That's like saying, is puberty a lifestyle choice? You're like, well, no, it's just a part of...
different.
A part of existence.
Yeah, it's not necessary to being a human.
No.
It is part of your design in being a human, though.
Yeah. Maybe like, okay, so maybe it's like something like work.
Wait. Can you come up with an analogy? I think that would help.
We're not going to get anywhere. So, sorry. Cutting
Zach's
this.
a master editor. This is just testing for him. No, but marriage is not like a lifestyle choice. It's literally how we were designed. A lot of Christians even. Now, again, it's, what do you want to say? Post-industrialization, it's, the influx of technology and ease of life. It's the denial of the created order, which technology can have an influence on people, like sort of being removed from the way the world just actually works. It's a feministic destruction and a Marxist destruction of gender roles and the centrality of family. It's the ruining of nuclear family or the natural family. None of these things matter. All of those, all of those things coming in make people say silly things like marriage is a lifestyle choice. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Totally just depends on how traditional or how Republican or how right-wing you want to be. In no way. It's not the case.
I think functionally the reason why that is actually a realistic choice, and if you think about in history, the people who were able to not get married were very rich, influential people. Like, a woman could not get married if her family was rich. A lot of the time, women were married off because...
You're saying she had the option. It became a lifestyle choice if you are already somehow looked after.
That's right.
By other means.
Yes.
And those means were somebody else's marriage, i.e. your parents.
Yes. And right? I'm not saying that is, the blueprint. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's not biblical at all. But that's the reason why functionally people will say it's not necessary. And I can see outside why, because you look at women, I'll talk to a friend who's not a Christian and she'll say, I don't need to get married because I can work. I have a degree. I have my own money.
Live
I
in a
have
safe
my own
neighborhood.
house.
Don't need someone to protect me.
I don't need anything. I've got police down the road. I've got all of these things.
Yeah.
Why do I need a man? I don't need I don't want children. I don't need those things. And so, because, children, for example, a lot of people had because they had something to pass down, and they were an insurance. When you got older, there wasn't nursing homes.
It wasn't Medicare.
There wasn't Medicare. There
Who's going to look after you?
There weren't nurses that would live in your house. It was your family. It was your children.
Your kids would look after you in your old age.
And so that's so now we don't need that, because you don't need your child to change your bedpan. A nurse will do it.
Kids for that. You need
and
kids
it's paid
to give
by
you
the government.
Family business or family home to.
So I think that's why people will say that.
Yeah, that's one reason why a lot of people are we've kind of outgrown, or people can feel like culturally we've outgrown the necessity of marriage. I don't need that archaic structure anymore. We're pretty good. That's one reason people feel it. And if we kind of went, lost a lot of our modern comforts, people would be like, women, or people often make the joke, when World War III strikes, all of the boss ladies are going to get out of their pantsuits and become pretty traditional. Oh, I want a man to look after me and get sent to the front line. Not me, please.
Yeah.
I can't actually do everything a man can do. God's design is a lot more apparent, not true, but a lot more evident and apparent and easy to see as true wisdom when
times are hard.
The closer we get to maybe harsh nature, the harshness of the world as it really is, the further you get to that, the harder it is to make an argument to a mother of 4 children in a village somewhere. It's pretty hard to make the argument to her, you don't really need a man. You can do everything he can do. Really? Can I hunt sharks while breastfeeding child? And can I defend from other tribe while cooking dinner?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I can do everything they can do. Yeah, you can vote. What's voting? Right. So the more civilization kind of progresses, one of the things that history we see in cycles, and we kind of forget how the world works.
Yeah.
And so it's not bad for societies to progress. We just need to progress without progressing past the Bible. And so even for people in our day, we're not saying, well, if you have these things in order, then marriage is less practical for you. We're saying that might be why you feel that way, but seriously, go back to Scripture. The Bible is always our rule and always our design and always our authority. And if you are a human, then you are born man or woman. And Jesus says, really interestingly in Mark chapter 10, he talks about marriage and says, for this reason, right? God made them from the beginning, male and female. 2 genders. At the beginning of history, God made Adam and Eve, male and female. And why? And he says, for the sake of marriage. So the whole reason gender binary exists as human beings created in the image of God is so that we are fit for this institution of marriage. What that tells us is marriage is not merely something underneath human beings that we have created and is subordinate to us, and that we can redefine or change or partake in if we want.
Yeah.
Marriage is actually an institution above us that does serve us, but it is God-ordained. It is over us. It is not something we can change the definition of, because it is ordained and given to us, not invented by us. So no matter marriage then, to sort of come back to what we were saying, it's the ordinary, it's the norm for humans made by God. We want all people to get married, not just because it's great and we love being married. We want them to love being married, but God wants people to get married. God is marriage positive. God is hugely pro-marriage. He designed it. It was all his idea. He gave us body parts so that marriage was fun and enjoyable. He gave us procreative ability so that marriage was productive. He gave us complementary natures as male and female so that marriage is cohesive and successful and able to be done, but it's lots of hard work. So we want people to get married. As revival hits, God saves a whole bunch of people and grows the Australian church and wherever else you're listening from. These people need to have a smart head on their shoulders about marriage.
Lots of people don't know, but I have been pushing you repeatedly since you've been a pastor to preach on marriage-related topics so more people will get married. We've got a lot of single people in our church at the moment, and I've got beef with them.
Yeah.
I've got beef.
You just like being invited to weddings.
I do.
This is all it is.
It's the only perk of your job is getting invited to marriages, to weddings.
It's a highlight. It's definitely a highlight.
But I love love. So, and I love romance.
What you're saying is if you were a pastor, if we were one of those denominations that was Pastor Tom and Joy,
Yeah.
whenever you preached, it would be tuck your shirt in, comb your hair, ask a girl. That would be the application of all of your sermons.
Every single time would be like, why there's single people?
Feminists, shut your mouths.
I
cook.
do refer to being a pastor's wife as my calling. So we'll see. My ministry. So we'll see.
We met when we were in high school.
Let's talk about our.
Well, let's get on track somehow. People need to meet the right person. Now, is there the one out there that people need to wait around until they find at a masquerade ball and a glass slipper?
I believe in like soulmates.
No, you don't.
I do. I believe in it.
Nah, shh. So what? Now, what you believe is a sovereign God who ordains that the person you marry is a God-ordained union that you need.
That's right. Yeah. So when people are married to somebody and they say, I married the wrong person, I'm like,
you didn't though,
how's
because
your
God's
theology
sovereign.
on sovereignty?
Yeah, your covenant was made to a person.
I think that you can marry the person you're ordained to marry, but you made a choice that was unideal.
Yeah. That's what people mean. They're talking about fate and not a sovereign God who ordains things and should I or shouldn't I get divorced because I'm not with the right person. They mean which the sovereignty of God answers in a Christian worldview. They mean this guy is great, he's amazing,
but
I could have a great marriage with him, but is he the one?
Is he fate? Is it destiny?
Yeah, how do I know? How do I discern that he's my soulmate?
Yeah.
Stop reading Nicholas Sparks and Disney novels maybe.
Well, in recent years, I've told people, choose somebody that loves Jesus and make it work. And I think that was overly simplistic. And I kind of regret that advice as well.
Nobody took that advice. No. I'm saying nobody took that advice alone. Nobody went,
that's true.
Those 2 points, rule my and then ran with it. Like that's in a context of overcomplicating everything. That is true. Somebody loves Jesus, but there's more to it, right?
Yeah.
So there are other people that would have loved Jesus, and you can make it work if by that you mean just die without getting divorced.
Yeah.
You can make it work, but that's not working, right? Obviously, you're saying there's more to it.
Well, let's talk about how we met and our story, and we can discuss, because we're quite well matched personality-wise, and things that maybe we were looking for as a young person to help people identify helpful things.
Well, so we met in high school. We were in grade 11. We met in grade 10, but we became crazy about each other in grade 11.
Yeah.
Because we were paired up for a school project and we were together. In this school project, we had to kiss, which was a real burden for me.
So I think at this point, it's good to just admit that it was a play, Tom. What other school project would we be kissing in?
Biology.
Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it.
Yeah, so we were both cast for. You asked me to do the roles. There's a big Shakespeare play. You should play the main guy. I'm like, that sounds lame.
Yeah.
I've got rugby 3 days a week. I've got boxing 2 days a week. I've got wrestling 3 days a week. That sounds lame. And you said, I'm playing the counterpart, the girl part. I was like, oh yeah, I could probably make room.
And I actually admired your acting. I thought you'd be a really good actor in that. It wasn't me just trying to be around you. Although I did like being around you. You were a very good actor.
Don't give me this. You're a good actor.
He's a very good actor.
Don't give me this.
He's a very good actor.
So we were in the play. We ended up kissing, doing our lines. Lo and behold, teenagers, hormonal teenagers who have to kiss each other and spend 3 afternoons a week playing lovers in a Shakespeare play, Jaded Lovers or whatever it was. We caught feelings. Yeah. Crazy. And we were talking a whole bunch. But I think our conversations, we had said, I'm not going to say we were supremely mature 16-year-olds, but our relationship started there. That's not advisable. If you're in high school, don't date. A million things were unideal about being together. And we didn't start dating until almost the end of grade 12.
Yeah. And we weren't really dating. We're girlfriend and boyfriend, but we weren't even allowed to go. We called
ourselves exclusive.
We weren't going on dates one-on-one. We weren't allowed to.
Yeah, no, we didn't put ourselves in situations where it was just us alone. No, that's right. But we were crazy about each other from grade 11 onwards. And tried to hang out and talk and call as often as we could, right?
Yeah.
But one thing that was, in fact, one of the reasons we didn't start dating, or one of the reasons that, but we were crazy about each other was we both knew I'm not looking for a relation. I don't want to date someone. I don't want to hang out with a girl and
I don't just
get
want
my
a
heart
boyfriend.
broken. You don't just want a guy to hang out with you and take you, to concerts for the sake of it. I'd said, look, I know I'm 16 and this sounds crazy, and I'd been laughed at for saying it before. And when I told you, you were like, wow, you're amazingly attractive. Whatever you said, something about my biceps. I can't remember it all, but you flicked your hair. I said, the next gal I date, because I was a bit of a flirtatious guy.
Well,
I don't know if you knew this.
No,
I dated in high school. I'd had flings with girls like all throughout like the last few years. Where, what did it mean? I put her name on my MySpace. That's basically what it meant in high school in the 2000s. But
you got in your feelings. You listened to some emo music when they stopped talking to you over the summer
they
holidays.
broke off or whatever, and I'd want to drive my proverbial car over a bridge, and I'm like, this is dumb. I've got some good advice from parents, older guys from church. I'm like, why are you just chasing? That's not what relationships are for. They're to prepare for marriage. And so I had said, I don't want to date anybody until I'm preparing for marriage.
Yeah.
And you found that really, you appreciated that because you're like, I'm not after just a dude to.
I think we had a conversation and you said that you asked me if I would ever consider dating you. And I said, probably not, because you're very flirtatious and you seem like you probably couldn't be exclusive. I think that is what I said. And you were a very charismatic guy, and you weren't it's not like you were, two-timing girls or anything, but you were just very flirtatious. Everybody was in love with you. And I was like, you don't seem like you're the kind of guy who would want to be exclusive. And I think that was, I do look back on a lot of the things that we were judging about each other at the time and say, well, there was a lot of, godly guidance and wisdom in that. And that was one of the things, is I said, I just don't think that you can be exclusive. And then you said,
well, I'm putting my old ways behind me.
That's not what you said. You said the next, I am hoping the next girl that I date will be my wife.
Yeah, I don't want to muck around or waste my time.
And then we agreed okay.
And you said, I want to date for marriage.
Yeah.
We weren't saying we want to get married next year. We were saying, well, me too. Like I want dating to be serious and purposeful and intentional. So from the very early, we realized there was a lot of values that clicked, a lot of intentions that clicked.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of, we were like 16 going on 17 or whatever, but that still, principle applies. I've seen play out over and over again with 18, 19, 20, 21, 25, 32-year-olds.
Yeah.
When they're, some people, there's just the foolish, short-sighted person. They're looking for a good time.
Yeah. Somebody that makes them feel
like
good.
somebody. He's cool.
Let's
She's
see
nice.
where this goes.
She's hot. I go, do your values align? Are you looking at dating each other for the same reason? So now you got to start real basic. We were both Christian. That's what we liked about each other. Was that we were in a Christian school. So most people called themselves Christians. We both, especially after I got converted, lo and behold, we took Christianity seriously. We wanted to serve Jesus. We wanted the Bible to sort of rule our life and our relationship should that go ahead. And that was, we liked that about each other.
Yeah.
We were both Christian. So that's fundamental. If people are dating, if you're a Christian, maybe you're a new Christian, maybe you've kind of just had recently a reactivation, reawakening, recommitment of your faith, and you're coming back into church, make sure that if you're going to marry somebody, or maybe the guy or the gal that you were previously with, but you're making a recommitment to Christ or you're getting saved, please, you desperately need someone who is also a Christian. Right? That's one of the hard things coming to Christ. Sometimes he says you got to leave behind your unbelieving girlfriend, boyfriend, fiance, even. In 1 Corinthians 7, Zach will give us the reference over here this time. Bang. Paul tells us if you're going to marry in the Lord. It's okay for Christians to be single for the mission, for certain specifics that happen throughout history and in certain circumstances, but 99% of Christians are going to get married. He says you've got to marry in the Lord. You've got to marry Christians.
And the Bible also says do not be unequally yoked with an unbeliever as well.
Yeah. which definitely applies to marriage. Marriage is a yoking. It is a joining.
Yeah.
It's a covenantal. In marriage, you are both accountable in your vows before God. Well, if one of you doesn't serve the same God, if she's a Hindu, if he's a Muslim, if he's a Catholic, if he doesn't believe in God, but he's willing to sort of attend church if and when you wish, that's going to be a really hard marriage because your covenant, your vows are made to God. He doesn't even believe in it. She doesn't even believe in it. Your covenant vows and your rules for marriage are regulated by God. How to be a good wife, how to be a good husband, what we do with kids, how we educate, all of that is determined by God. Well, if he doesn't even believe the Bible that you're trying to quote, or if she doesn't even care about what the scriptures say, you're going to have a very difficult marriage, nearly impossible marriage. And it just cannot, we said in one of the reels recently, people, social evolutionists talking about, monogamy is unnatural to our species. No, it's ordained and created and designed for our species, and we are designed for monogamy. But in another sense, it's not natural to our flesh because our flesh is adulterous and lustful and passionate.
Yeah.
And so if you're not marrying somebody with the Holy Spirit, you're asking them to do a pretty hard thing. Stay emotionally, physically, sexually faithful to you.
By sheer will and not by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah,
empowering them.
that's a difficult thing.
Yeah.
So you've got to be Christian. If
Yeah.
you are dating somebody, don't even go on a date with them unless they're a Christian. Then maybe you go on your first date and you're like, I don't know if their profession is obvious. Maybe they're cultural Christian. They just meant they got baptized as a baby. They're not living with Jesus. Okay, cool. You haven't sinned,
they go to a
but they
charismatic
got to be a
church.
Christian. Okay?
Yeah.
And then the other thing, got to be a Christian. Do they have to have exactly the same theology as you, Joy?
They have to have similar enough theology. I often look back now as an adult and with children, and I'm so thankful that I started dating / married a Baptist. I feel like, Baptists and Presbyterians are quite similar in their reformed natures. Yeah. Reformed Baptists, that is. And I don't think I would have had the discernment at 15 to be like, oh, he's Presbyterian, but that's fine. Like, I don't know that, and I'm glad that you're a Baptist. But I think if you were a Presbyterian and I was a Baptist, that would have been pretty difficult watching my children get baptized.
Because a lot of people don't even know what the differences of those are. But as you just said, on the practical end of it, a Presbyterian is going to want to baptize babies. If you're a Baptist wife, you're like, let them grow up and make their decision. That's what Jesus commanded us to do. I'm like, no, we need to reaffirm the gospel of God over these children and trust that they'll grow up in it.
Yeah.
That's like one little thing to if you don't really care much about scripture, that sounds like a weird thing to quibble over. Yeah. If you care about what the Bible's saying and how you're raising your kids, that impacts loads of other stuff.
Of course.
And that's one example.
Yeah.
But you want your theology to be similar and especially on the big practical stuff.
Yeah.
So theology of, for example, sovereignty of God. The three things I usually say, your theology is going to change as you grow up. Yep. So don't try and pin somebody down, define the ideal spouse as somebody who agrees with you perfectly now. You're not going to agree with you in a year.
Yeah.
But you two do need similar theology so that the rest of the stuff you can work out from some common ground. Okay? So the big things are usually sovereignty of God. If one person is like free will all the way, God would never hurt or ordain anything difficult for us in life. If anything bad happens, it's Satan.
Yeah.
You guys are going to pick different, and the guys like 5-point Calvinist, God ordains whatsoever cometh to pass. There is no maverick molecule in the entire universe. Every person who is elected will be saved, and no one will be saved who is an elect. Those people are going to go through suffering differently.
Yeah.
They're going to treat their kids, pursue their kids' souls differently. Not totally, but quite differently. You're going to want to definitely go to different churches.
And the biggest thing is going through trials, which are relentless in marriage. Trials are relentless in marriage. And if you have a different view of God's sovereignty, God's sovereignty is the thing that gets you through a trial.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be...
It's hard.
So similar view of God's sovereignty. Now, if you're infralapsarian and she's supralapsarian, you can probably still make it work.
You've explained that to me maybe 10 times and I still...
Nah, you got it.
I'm just a girl.
But yeah, like big view of God, sovereign God, he's in charge. We obey him. Yes, Lord. You both want to be on the same on that. The other one is gender roles.
Yeah.
This isn't like what makes a Christian or not a Christian. This is the big three things that in marriage I see become chaotic if you're not similar on these things. Yeah, you need a consensus on gender roles.
Yeah.
Do you submit to him or whoever's more competent is the leader of the relationship?
Yeah.
Are you both feminists? Gross. I just got in my head a picture of a male feminist again. I'm gonna have to process through that.
Do you need a bucket?
Yeah, I need a bucket. Yeah, that's going to be terrible if you're both feminists. You know, who even decides? Do you believe the Bible speaks to your marriage? So male headship, female submission, what that means, what it doesn't. Can men and women both preach at church, or is preaching and leadership in the church only for males only?
Yeah.
Traditional Christian answer. So gender roles are huge. The reason that's one of the big ones is because that also impacts everything. If you are the man and you go, look, she's got some differences to me. Some things she does that I don't agree with, or some ways that we're even thinking about. Maybe it's birth control, or stuff in the future that's a little bit different. But she says to me, "If I'm your wife, I'm your helper. I'll submit to you. I'm going to support you. I want to be led by you, and you're going to be my teacher." And if he's keen on going, as your husband, I'm not going to tell you to shush. I want all of your input, all of your wisdom, all of your thoughts, all of your opinions. But I am ordained by God to be the teacher of my wife and to help unify us theologically. If you both have that agreement, then the 100 disagreements you have don't matter. You'll work them out in a good headship submission, husband-wife, head-body relationship. If you have only one difference, but that difference is who's the head of the relationship, now you've got two heads. I think it was Driscoll who said, something with two heads is a beast. That's a monster. You don't want that. You don't want that in your marriage. One head, that's a proper body. So are you Christians? Is your theology similar enough, particularly on sovereignty of God, gender roles, and probably I would say like view of the family or children?
Yeah.
Do you both want children?
Yeah.
Joy, what should somebody say if the person they're dating doesn't want kids?
Bye.
Yeah, good advice. See ya.
The only people who don't want kids are people who are children themselves.
Children shouldn't have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't want kids. That's responsibility. And you're like, yeah, I guess a child doesn't want more responsibility. Doesn't want the responsibility of an adult.
Yeah. Oh, it'll affect my wife's body. Like, yeah. A teenage boy probably wants like a barely matured body. Yeah, but that's not what a woman is.
Yeah. People can agree to not have children. Well, no. Somebody can decide to not have children if they're choosing singleness for the sake of the mission.
Yep. But marriage and children are a package deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't say, we're going to get married for them and serve Jesus, but we're not going to have children because it'd be too dangerous for them on the mission. You're just like, well,
this world isn't, I don't want to bring a child into this culture and this world. I'm like, you have the easiest life in any generation of the entire world. You pathetic complainer.
Especially in the West.
It'd be irresponsible to bring children into this world. Lives in Colorado. Wow. Yeah. Please don't have kids. No,
just natural selection.
Now the reason is that's not opinion. That's not preference. That God wants kids out of marriage. God wants marriage. He designed marriage. He loves it. God's pro marriage. God's also pro kids. Marriage equals kids for God's view. He tells us in Malachi chapter 2 that he's rebuking those who are getting divorced, marrying a hot younger chick. He goes, stop doing that. You're betraying your wife of your youth, who I joined you by covenant. And why did I put a union of the Spirit between you, a portion of the Spirit in your union? Because I wanted godly offspring. And so the reason God brings a man and a woman into God-glorifying marriage and ordains them as one flesh is so that he can get out of that one flesh more souls who glorify God, godly offspring. So not maximal offspring, not just as many babies as you can do and fish them out to people, not in the technical language of the term bastards who, like Andrew Tate promotes, like have as many kids with as many women as you can.
Elon Musk does that as well.
It's that's not what God wants. He doesn't want people with your genetics out there somewhere. He wants, in the structure of a home, under the safety of a marriage, being forged for godliness, he wants children out of marriage. You don't want kids, you don't get married. If somebody says they don't want kids, but they want to be with you, then they're not really marriage. They're not marriage material.
Yeah.
You got to have kids, man.
For sure.
They're the best. Not because they're easy. You don't get married because it's easy.
No.
You don't have kids because it's easy. So if they agree on those things, sovereignty of God, gender roles, and like theology of family, hit them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, hit them up. Keep working on it. At least at the beginning. This is somebody you can probably build with.
Yeah. And so there are other things to consider as well than that. Because there are lots of guys, Christian guys on Reddit that say, I want children.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a 5-point
Believe it or not, some of the
Calvinist.
podcasts. Yep.
I'm, what else do they say?
I'm reformed.
Oh, what's that list? What's that list that guy made?
Oh, multiple times I've
wife.
seen this. Yeah. Guys post their requirements for a wife, like a job description. Yeah. Calling all women. Anyone who knows how to cook, preferably a mix of 5 different meals. This tall, this color skin, this kind of hair.
So there can be people out there that have matching values.
Oh, they can be Christian. Yep. They can have similar theology.
Yep.
And they can be a terrible person to marry.
Yes, that's
right. So this is a minimum, but that's not everything. That's not maximum.
So from my perspective, I'm going to give a view of what I've experienced with girls, seeing marriages from afar, and I'll talk to what helped me when I was looking for a husband. And this will also help guys too who are unmarried think about what women are going to be looking at when they're looking at raw material for what makes a
what
good...
What a girl wants.
What a girl wants. Yeah, exactly. So one way that I like to think about it is like in terms of like gemstones and rocks. So it's an analogy because I love an analogy. I love an analogy.
I'm getting an imagery back to that Ian Burnett animation.
What's that? We'll have to get him to put it in there.
You got yellow gemstones? Yeah, we'll insert clip here.
I got some jewels.
You have jewels?
You like jewels?
Oh, I like jewels.
I got a red jewel.
Yeah, that's cool.
I got a blue jewel. I got some yellow jewels.
Yeah, I love the yellow ones.
Yeah, you'll have to send it to him and put it in. I love a gemstone. No. So I'll talk to girls and they'll tell me what they're looking for in a guy. And basically what they'll describe to me is a man who's been married for 10 years.
Mm.
You don't get that.
Well, they're seeing guys around them who they go, he is giving my friend a great marriage.
Yeah.
He is giving my sister a great marriage.
Yeah.
This guy at church, he seems like a great husband.
Well, they look at their dad and they say, I want somebody like my dad.
Yeah, my dad does this and my dad does that. And
yeah.
I think that makes a great husband. You go, yep, it does.
It does. That's not who your mum married 30 years ago, 20 years ago.
No. What you're looking at is the product of your mum and your dad and the Holy Spirit and the elders of that church and his experiences working on him.
For decades.
That's
right.
When you look at a guy who's been married 5 years or 10 years and you go, man, he's a great husband to my friend or my sister or whatever. I want a guy like that.
Yeah.
I want a guy like one of my elders or my mature friends or whatever. And they go, that's a godly man. I want to find someone like that. Yeah. And you go, cool, great.
That's great. Aim for that.
You don't find them.
Yeah, that's right. Because that's, like I said, when you are looking for husband material, you're theoretically digging through the dirt of the world. And you're going to come across raw gemstones that look like rocks, and you're going to come across rocks, which no matter how you cut it, how you polish it, what pressure you apply to it, is never going to turn out to be a gem. In the sense that a good husband is like a gem,
so
like a diamond, like a cut, polished diamond.
And a good wife, like a Proverbs 31 wife and a whatever Proverbs husband, they're cultivated, they're not found.
Yeah.
You didn't find a great husband sitting out there single.
Yeah. You found a rock that you could see that it had good potential and it has been faceted, shaped
But to be anything like what you saw in the museum or in the jewelry shop, you're going to have to put a lot of work in.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to have to put a lot of work in, but you also need the right material. You need the right raw material.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard for people, especially if you don't have good role models in your life. If you're a new Christian, you're just like, how do I know what to start with? Okay, he's not going to look like an ideal husband when I date him as a guy. So
So
what on
I'll
earth
pick
do
a
I look for?
project.
Yeah, don't pick a
Girls pick projects to go, I can
Yeah.
fix him. Everyone knows that's a trope of just
Yeah.
foolishness and stupidity. You can't.
Men
you
do it
can't
as
fix him.
well.
Men do it as well. They go, she's a nice project. Messiah complex. She says she's never known somebody so self-controlled. She's got all her previous boyfriends or maybe she's an ex-wife or whatever. She got beat up. She got abused. She had all these problems. Cool. So she's a project. You don't want to marry a project.
No. Definitely not. But back to my analogy.
So what gals should do then is instead of seeing a guy that's like, wow, he makes a good husband, I'll go look for one of them on christianmingles.com, or I'll go look for one of them at church. The only great husbands you'll find at church are married.
Yeah.
Okay?
And you don't
taken real estate.
want somebody else's husband.
But what they can do is go up to the wife and say, hey, can you tell me what Peter was like when you guys met at 21?
And what are
she'll
the things you can
probably
identify?
laugh and go, you wouldn't recognize Pete back then.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
That's
he wore
right.
his cap backwards, flip-flops everywhere, didn't own a comb,
Never brought his wallet anywhere.
didn't know what the difference between showering, applying deodorant, or wearing cologne.
Yeah.
Had a license, but that car was should not have been registered. Slept, most of the nights in his swag with his mates. All cool for a single guy, but he is not the guy. He wasn't a husband.
That makes it harder though.
He was husband material.
That makes it harder though, because you're like, so what is it then? How do I find how do I identify raw material?
Yeah.
And I think for women, this is what I talk about. And I'm trying to think about it. And so far, this is what I've got is self-discipline, self-control, consistency, and integrity. Now, there are lots of other things, but those
Does that
ones,
make an acronym?
Does it?
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, no, I wasn't.
You're just expecting us to remember
No,
those?
they were just in my head.
See, this is why you could never be a preacher. You got to acronize these or alliterate these. What do we got? Discipline, control. That's two consonants.
Self-control.
DC. Okay, DS. What was the other one? Integrity.
Yep.
And consistency.
Yeah.
No.
Disc.
Disc.
Yeah. So those are the things that I would look at. So integrity, whether he does the right thing when it costs him something.
Okay.
Acknowledging that you've done something wrong, taking responsibility for it. That's integrity. Consistency. If you enter a guy and he jumps from church to church, from service team to service team, you can't hold him down anywhere.
Can he be committed to stuff?
You went to the same church from your whole life until you came here.
Yeah.
Whenever you were on a service team, you were on that team until you left the church.
Yeah.
You weren't jumping from team to team unless you were called somewhere else. Actually called. Not, I feel like God is calling me to not serve
it's
on
basically
worship
stability.
anymore.
By consistency, you
because
mean...
God doesn't call me to wake up at 5. That's not the thing.
No. It's stability. It's like, has he held down a job for longer than 6 months?
That's right.
Has he been like serving in a team without getting kicked off or making an excuse to leave more than 6 months?
Yeah.
One of the ways when you start
Jobs.
dating, it starts.
Wait, did I already
said
say jobs?
Yeah. Same church, for years. Like, you leave churches. We move church.
You do leave church.
You move places, but is it conviction or is it convenience or is it? I actually don't belong to a church. I belong to the global church. I sort of float around and I
wanted to bring this
on
up.
everybody.
I wanted to bring this up. So 9 years ago-ish, I'm not sure. I wasn't married yet. So it would have been maybe 10 years then. 10 years ago, I was at a party and I was talking to a Christian guy, who was dating one of my friends. And I was asking him, oh, nice to meet you. What church do you go to? And he said to me, I don't belong to a church. I like to bless people. I like to bless churches by just, visiting different ones and, blessing them with my fellowship. And I was like, cool.
Hey, chat, translate this. I hate accountability.
Yeah, that's right. And evidently, only a couple years later, he married this girl that he was dating, had 2 children with her. And after some time, he felt that God was calling him somewhere else. He needed to rediscover his religion. he wasn't sure about orthodoxy and he just needed to go and God was calling him away and he abandoned his wife and infant children.
Sorry, he was called to abandon his wife.
He was called to abandon his wife and children. And this is why I'm not saying that every guy who has a hard time and loses jobs frequently is like that. But if this guy can't be a member in a church.
The Proverbs just tell us that there are reasons sometimes that are outside of our control for why things happen to us. Obviously, things happen to us as people. But at the end of the day, at the end of the year, at the end of a few years, real fruit is possible. Jesus said wisdom is justified by her deeds, by her outcome, right? There is patterns in people's lives are unavoidable and you are allowed to assess them, right? Yeah. I'm a victim in every single relationship I have. My sister-in-law, my parents, my brothers, my job, my church, my high school friends, everyone around me is a narcissist.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty convenient. So you're terrible at picking company, first of all.
Yeah.
Or maybe, just maybe.
You're the common denominator.
You're a common denominator.
Common denominator.
You're a common denominator. Like you're not to blame for everything. No one is. But you have terrible self-awareness, obviously. You think everything is everybody else. And so, wisdom is able to look at a guy and go, you're saying self-discipline, self-control, integrity, and consistency. You should be able to look at him and go, he's got some stability in his life.
Yeah.
He's committed to things and growing in them.
And one thing that consistency does kind of inoculate against is the kind of guy who is seeking and chasing novelty. And the problem with a guy that's always chasing novelty, a new hit, something interesting, something new, is that he can't commit to a marriage.
No, he might sweep you off your feet.
He'll stop being new at some point.
He'll sweep you off your feet. Huge dates. Oh, he flew me to Bali. Oh, he got me this necklace. A surprise and spontaneous engagement. Like if you haven't known this guy for a few years, you do need to pump the brakes a little bit to make sure that this isn't a fling and you're not his latest shiny toy.
Yeah.
Because some other girl will be his shiny toy soon.
Yeah.
Or a new job, or a new this, or a new that. So
there's
you
no
want
guarantee that a guy who jumps from job to job or church to church will be like that, but consistency inoculates against it.
Yeah. If you say, I'm looking for somebody who's got some consistency.
Yeah.
Not somebody who's afraid to change, but makes changes principledly and balanced and carefully and wisely, has held certain theological positions or opinions and views for longer than a few weeks, for longer than a couple of years.
Yeah.
He's somebody who has some of that stability. Then he's somebody who has proven. Now, other guys might be able to do it, but they haven't proven it yet. But he's proven he can stick at stuff.
Yeah.
And you got to stick at marriage.
You got to stick at marriage. It's going to get hard. It's going to get boring. Not us, babe, but other people have marriages that are boring.
Well, if you're not working on it hard, it gets boring.
Yeah.
You can't just expect that, my curves keep him busy, keep him loving me. Nah. Nope. You'll get boring at some point. Somebody else's curves will be, you're not that interesting. And if you're just gonna, you can't coast in and through marriage. It just doesn't work. You have to work hard at staying romantic. You gotta work hard at being fun.
For sure. But that's why consistency is so important. Is because if they can't be consistent in life, they're not going to be consistent in marriage.
Questions, Joy. If a guy doesn't have a job, dating material, do you even start the conversation?
I don't want no scrub, as TLC once said.
Yeah.
Don't want a scrub. No. Bum-bow.
Yeah. Okay. No work. No job. No job. No
girl.
No girl.
No girl.
Yeah. What if he doesn't have a license? Licenses are very hard to get.
Absolutely not. If he can't drive you on to a date, then that's a big, big no.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to rip into not having a license because there are people around who will get very hurt by my opinion. But it's pretty easy to get a license. Pretty easy to get your P's, and if you work hard enough,
technically a 1% exception to almost anything.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So
was Jesus employed?
So when I was getting my P's and doing my hours, I just got a job so I could pay for lessons because nobody was driving me around.
There's just a way to do things. If you actually highlight it enough.
Yeah.
So like getting a license is not even closest to one of the considerable, almost difficult things to do in life.
Yeah.
It is surprisingly and amazingly easy. It is unbelievably easy to get a license. 100 hours.
I feel so uncomfortable right now.
It's so easy. If you're blind in both eyes or you have one leg, it might be a little bit more difficult. It's not as easy for everybody. Some people are in a stable household, mum and dad, 2 cars, they can drive, whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Other people have to push, like you did, you were living out of home and you had to pay for a lot of lessons. You had to do a lot of, only on weekends. You couldn't drive to school with parents and all. Okay, but you got it done.
Yeah.
You got to get her done.
Yeah.
And a guy just needs to realize, like, he already knows. If you're just not getting a license, you know that there's all sorts of responsibilities and jobs and tasks and ways to help other people you just can't do because you don't have a license.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind that at all, if that's not a priority for you, going, man, I might get a license at least so that I can get other jobs. I'm more flexible. I can do more. I can help other people. I can give other people a lift. If that doesn't measure on you, then that's a butt. Yeah, no, if he doesn't have a license, she's going to be driving him around.
And in terms of, because I didn't really elaborate on having a job is absolutely essential. If you date a girl, and we're not idiots here, you date a girl, you're attracted to her, she's attracted to you, things are going to get, spicy. You're going to want to be touching each other and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know where you're going. Yeah, obviously,
Be heading towards more and more intimacy the more time you spend together.
I always tell young guys, it's like pursuing a girl for marriage is really tough because you are both considering whether or not you're both choosing your sexual partner for the rest of your life. That's a weird interview.
Yeah.
Like for
sure.
We're thinking about marriage. Cool. Everyone knows what that means. Like if this works out, we're going to be sleeping together.
Yeah.
That's constantly on a guy's mind at least. And so he needs to be mature about it. He needs to be responsible, self-controlled. But if you're not aware of that, you're going to get handsy. You're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
How does that come down to having a license?
A job.
Yeah.
Because you're going to realize as soon as you start dating this girl, I'm probably going to need to get married a lot sooner than what I thought it was going to take.
Yeah. If he goes, hey, I'm going to probably finish my degree in 4 years and then maybe I can get a part-time job and then maybe I can get a career. So I can probably afford a marriage in 2029. You're going to go, whoa, no. So I always tell guys, you don't start dating until you could reasonably pay for living, groceries, whatever, pay for everything, like provide for you and a wife within 12 months.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you date somebody and you're a Christian, you don't want to sleep together, you're going to honor God, and you date for 3 to 6 months, somewhere there. You get engaged for 6 to 9 months usually. That's within about 12 months. You need to be move-in ready. You need to be providing ready.
There's no guarantee that she's going to be staying at home, but the option needs to be there. You don't know if she'll get pregnant, she'll be, unable to work. You don't know these things. So you need to be, like, for goodness sakes, you need to be able to afford an engagement ring. Like, I'm not talking a $6 one off Temu. I mean
or
a proper
$6,000 one from somewhere, but
I mean a proper engagement ring. Yeah. You need to be able to afford that, and
you have to pay for wedding. You want to do that wisely.
Not that hard. It's not that hard to get a job.
When we talk about getting prepped and prepared, you can't decide you want to you can't decide you want to start dating and then get ready to date. You need to already be ready.
Yeah.
You can't decide you want to marry her and then decide to get a job to pay for the wedding and being married. You got to have those things behind you already. And so we tell girls, don't marry him if he's not already just about ready.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't date him, do you mean?
Yeah.
So with having a job, guys will say, oh, it's really hard. It's hard to provide for myself. I don't know how I could provide for a woman, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, man up. Just work harder. Get a different job.
It is true that it's really hard. But there's you can't say that's why nobody's able to do it. No. So how are other people doing it? If I said, that doing that thing is just way too difficult. I don't know how to do it. But lots of people around me were successfully doing it, it is my obligation then to go up to them and be like, hey, can you give me some advice on how are you doing it? So talk to somebody, get some financial advice, get some employee advice, talk about it because it's possible. Just the overwhelming amount of guys out there who are working, who do have a license, who are pursuing girls, who are getting married, proves it's doable. If you're in a difficult situation or a particularly hard situation under God's sovereignty, that's where he's put you, don't despise that, but work through it, work with God in it, and seek to work out of it. That's what Paul tells us in 1 Corinthians 7. Not everybody's in the same boat. It's not equally easy for everybody to tick all these boxes, but it is all possible. And since we said at the beginning, God loves marriage, and once you're married, he's going to be behind you and helping you.
Absolutely.
Wise is he who finds a wife, right? Proverbs says, and God is going to bless he who finds a wife. So that pursuit is a pursuit you're not making on your own. God's blessing you and helping you, and wise people around you will want to give you advice and help you to do that because marriage rocks and you got to get there.
So one of the other things that I mentioned was self-control and self-discipline. And this will tie into this next example that I'm going to give on your behalf, is a guy that spends hours gaming.
What's wrong with that?
I can't say it more passionately, but you can't marry a guy who spends hours gaming. That's just, you can't marry somebody who does that. That's an absolute big red flag. Because, and it's gaming and it's pornography, and probably if he does, and I'm talking about video games. I don't really necessarily mean D&D, but I'm sure that it can get bad at some point. But video games.
Gambling's fun.
Probably if
it's the D&D that we need to talk about.
Gambling, video games, pornography, they all stem from the same thing, a lack of self-discipline and self-control.
Yeah. So I know maybe two men in the world. I know guys who do gaming as a hobby, and by that I mean 1 or 2 hours a week as like a Saturday afternoon thing. Sometimes it's with the kids. It's literally I have it down. Instead of watching a movie, which a lot of people do, I play a game. Cool. Engagement. You prefer that? That's sweet as.
Yeah.
I'm not even putting an hour limit on it and being legalistic, but usually when guys are gamers, I mean, every day at least an hour. And that if you're a gamer, you hear 1 hour, you mock at that. You laugh at 1 hour. No, it's usually 4 to 6 hours if you're a regular gamer. And guys, the problem is you are not displaying a mature view of the resources God has given you. Your time, your body, your mind. If you have that many, that's equivalent to a second job.
Yeah.
You could be making solid money on.
Yeah.
Some guys go, well, some streamers do make money. Do you? Are you making or spending the money? You're wasting your time. You could be working out. You could be reading. You could be serving the church.
Yeah, you could
There's
be
nothing
doing
wrong
evangelism,
with the invention
tracking.
of games,
Yeah.
as there is nothing wrong with cards. But there's a big difference between gambling frequently and losing a lot of money and doing video gaming for hours every day. It shows the person who, like, if you want to get married, you're just showing them, I don't think about time very maturely. It's mine to burn if I want it. What else could I be doing? Literally anything productive, because it's zero productive.
Yeah.
Gaming is not productive in any sense of the word whatsoever.
Yeah.
All of the achievements that you have are just bits on a screen. It's not a part-time job. It's not even skill development.
No.
You could at least go and work for free somewhere and get skill development.
Yeah.
Meet people.
I mean, some people use games to like develop their motor skills to be like fighter jet pilots, you're definitely
I
not
played
the
about
guy.
12 hours of video games for about 3 months a week, 12 hours a week for about 3 months because I was trialing to join the Air Force. My asthma ended up being what knocked me back, but I was doing upside down, street racing. I would do it with left hand only, right hand only. I would do it with my eyes closed. I would do it with one eye open. I played a dozen hours of games every week.
Yeah. And then you stopped as
and
soon as you needed to.
Because it was a discipline.
Yeah.
I go, hey, it's 3:30. That's my game time. I'd go out to the living room. I'd plug it in. Whatever.
Yeah.
It was not an addiction. But yeah, mate.
You need the self-control.
Amen,
and the reason why
game's no good.
The reason why it's a problem is because if you need self-control in marriage.
Yeah.
You need self-control in marriage. Self-control is a thing that stops a guy from, when he gets mad, punching a hole in the wall.
Yeah, if you can't
Or
turn
hitting
the
your kids
console
too
off,
hard.
oh, I went to bed 3 hours late again. Like
You couldn't even have control over your hands
that
and your mind.
self-control will apply to pornography and will apply to other temptations.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's just it's no good.
Yeah.
So Let's move on. Spend a bit of time on what girls should be looking for in guys.
Yep.
So stable job.
Yep.
Takes his own responsibility in looking after himself and the future, provision through hard work and consistency.
That's right. His mum doesn't. If he's living by himself, or even if he's living with his mum, his mum doesn't do all his chores. Like he's an adult.
Yeah.
He needs to be able to wash his dishes and put on laundry. That's a basic human skill that he needs to be able to do that. If his mum is doing it for him as an adult, he's going to expect you to do it for him. That's just...
You should flick your hair and be like, I would want you to learn these skills. Yeah. And by the next date, he'll tell you, yeah, I turned on a
washing machine.
I learned how to run a dishwasher.
I even put detergent in it.
Because a lot of guys, especially as Christians, we're getting married young. A lot of guys are going to be 19, 20 and not know how to do that stuff.
Yeah.
But if he's like against it, like, nah, I don't learn that. Well, it's a problem.
Yeah. Bit of a pride and a humility problem, I think.
So
that's like hidden behind, that's a domestic duty. And you're like, no, you're just being prideful and you're not having humility, because that's a basic thing that a normal human being can do.
So when girls are fishing through the dirt and the mud and they find a thing that might be a rock, might be an unpolished gemstone, you can go, well, look at this guy. What's behind him? Does he have some consistency?
Yeah.
Does he have discipline in his life? That maybe he's into footy. Maybe he plays cards. Maybe he watches TV. But are those disciplined things that he, is he disciplined and he's got his time planned out? He's a guy who believes in the calling of God on men to be providers, workers, fathers, husbands. He wants children in the future. He, that's the makings for a good gemstone. That's going to be able to polish up and become a cultivating husband. And for the men looking at women, they are often use the analogy of the garden. Well, Bible uses the analogy of a garden, but pick up on that analogy and run with it. Just as if you find a polished gemstone behind a
glass
display, that's somebody else's. If you find a guy that's somebody else's husband, that's why he looks that good. For guys, you do not stumble upon a well-cultivated garden. You have to work. You have to work it and cultivate. A good wife is not found. She's not hunted with a, Bushmaster rifle out in the bush. You don't go out and find one, bring her back and go, got it. She's a Proverbs 31 woman, get to work. You cultivate her. You find someone very similar. She's got good potential. She's got good, a friend of ours, Michael Foster, him and Emily, he says, catch them on the way up. Somebody who is showing good potential, is growing, is maturing, and go, I want to join with them because we are both on our way up and we'll do better together. Don't find somebody that's dropping and go, she'll be my project, I'll drag her up. Don't find a guy that's dead weight and try and bring him up. And don't marry somebody who is at the top, barely ever going to want to marry you most of the time. Find somebody who's on their way up. So you find a guy walking out in the wilderness who stumbles upon a fenced, pruned, productive little orchard and garden with a little running water thingo. He knows this is somebody else's property.
Here.
This is somebody else's. I can't just move into this. If I like this, I'm going to have to go to another patch of ground that is productive, that is potential, that is fruitful, and I'm going to have to cultivate that myself.
That's right.
And that's what guys meet wives and they go, oh wow, she's awesome. This my mate's wife or my brother's wife, or she's godly, she's amazing. And then looks around at single ladies and goes, why can't you pathetic women be more like them?
Why do you cry so much?
They're rearing children. You're pathetic and emotional. They're, stay-at-home wives and you're in the workforce. I had a guy complain to me about this once. Like, nah, she'd make a good, Joy doesn't work, but, this chick, she's like in the workforce building a career. I'm like, yes, she's not married. You don't want a stay-at-home wife.
You don't want a chick
who's
that's
single. That's called an unemployed person.
Yeah, just on Centrelink benefit, hanging out at home, crocheting.
That's what God would want. I'm like,
I want that girl.
You got to cultivate it.
That's a red flag.
You got to look after her and help her be able to stay at home.
I'll just say, a girl who's not working, that's also a red flag.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
You got to be productive. You can't be idle.
Can't be wasting your time. No way.
I mean, idleness leads to all of the sins in women. Yeah.
One of the
promiscuity,
the New Testament talks a lot
gossip.
about women's sins, like busybodying.
Yeah.
When you don't have anything to do, you find lots of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Prayer requests, gossip.
Yeah.
Visiting people's houses and getting in between sticking your nose in business where it's not. That's what women do when they're not busy enough doing what God's given them to do.
Yeah, that's right.
Men have different sins.
That's a natural
men get
tendency.
in fights. Men get into sexual relationships.
Yeah. Gamble.
Women gossip, busybody, get their nose in stuff they shouldn't.
Yeah.
So no, women should be
Yeah,
working.
so it is a red
But
flag.
anyway,
You should expect a girl to be working.
so if a guy wants a nice garden as a wife in 5-10 years, he needs to cultivate her. So, but you don't find a thorny, briar bush in the middle of the desert and say, I'll turn this into a garden. No. If she's fornicating, if she is adulterous, if she is, slutty and sleeping around, if she doesn't go to church, you don't pick her and go, I'll make her a garden. No, you won't. You'll get eaten alive.
Yeah.
She's a serpent.
And that's one of the things that men need to consider is just because you found a patch of land doesn't mean it's the best patch of land to use. Like just because you found some unkept garden doesn't mean that's the one for you. And guys get in over their heads and then they blame their wives. So there'll be guys and they'll be like, oh, my wife, she's just unmanageable.
Oh, yeah.
I can't manage her.
She's so emotional.
She's so emotional.
She's so angry.
She's vitriolic.
Hard-headed.
Yeah, she's hard-headed. And you're like,
snake-tongued.
yeah. Yeah, you should have had the discernment to see that when you looked at the garden.
You married her.
Yeah.
So you married her. Second of all, though, a gardener can't blame the garden.
No.
He has to blame the gardener.
Yep.
Well, who didn't prune that? Oh, I came back from my holidays and all the thorns and the weeds have taken over my garden. Cool. Who neglected it? Who didn't prune those parts? Who didn't put in the weed killer? Who didn't turn the soil so that it was productive and useful? A gardener can't blame his garden. He has to take responsibility. And as a man, as a husband, there's loads of things that aren't your fault that are your responsibility.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Her sin is not always your fault. Sometimes it is, but it often isn't. But it's still your responsibility.
Absolutely.
Like if she's vitriolic, how about you help her understand the sovereignty of God, the commands of God, the goodness of God, the grace of God?
If she's controlling and anxious, you need to teach her the sovereignty of God.
Yeah. Are you not shepherding her? Does she not?
You need to tell her everything's going to be okay.
Anxious wives who are micromanaging and nagging, they are the product of a man who has not earned her trust and proven to her that she's safe with him.
Yeah.
Of course she has to nag. You don't do anything unless she does. Of course she's micromanaging because you haven't shown her you got this. Daddy's home. I got this. You can relax. You're not a presence. Your presence is not one that brings down the temperature. It's one that shoots up the cortisol. Your voice is not one that brings order. It is one that causes chaos.
And
it may not be your fault, but everything is your responsibility as a man.
Another thing I see is women who are constantly combative or feel like they need to advocate or argue with people all the time. Women who are like that. Married women who are like that because they feel like their husband doesn't represent them, doesn't speak for them. And I say that because I used to be like that. When I was younger, I was always on Facebook. I was always posting things. I was always debating people. And I was actually in the debating club in high school. I love a good debate. But always
you're quick-tempered.
Like I was stubborn,
good
hard-headed.
You're always ready to share them.
I've got good opinions.
Always ready.
But I was very, combative with people. And once I got married and once I respected you and once I felt like you were speaking for me, naturally I didn't feel like I needed to do that anymore. I just feel like I don't need to say anything a lot of the time because you're saying it. You're speaking for me.
You didn't need to be a second head and a second mouth. You had a
right.
head. He represented. He was not betraying you. That's something that guys need to cultivate. And this is just a lifelong lesson. Man, there's a million ways we could teach it. But guys need to learn and women need to expect. Like when you're looking for a guy, you want a guy who, and maybe you're dating, okay? Let's put ourselves in. You've started dating, he meets some of these things, you're cultivating a relationship, and more you're going, he's responsible. He loves me. He's affectionate. He's caring. He's a real biblical man. And he's going, she's potential. Like she wants kids. She loves Jesus. She serves other people. She is generous with her time. She is kind and gentle, not vitriolic and angry. And, here's some other things to check for. Women, you want a guy who has proven to you a bunch of times that he, as a matter of pattern, not a once-off, but as a matter of pattern, he can both stand up for you and stand up to you.
Yeah.
So every guy will, in their dating and maybe engagement, and maybe even, God forbid, their marriage, will at some point or another side with the mob or with the mother or with the family or with the in-laws over his wife or his girlfriend or his fiance. People will be having an argument. She says, step up for me. And he goes, they're kind of right, and piles on or leaves you to the wolves.
Yeah.
Now, the immediate breakup with him situation is somebody runs in to rob a bank, with a knife.
Yeah.
Some Muslim dude comes in and he pushes you in front and runs.
Yeah.
Break up with that dude immediately. He has no ability to be a husband and protect you. But he has no instincts to protect. But on a lesser end of that spectrum, you'd go, when people start criticizing and piling on you, does he join in? Does he step back and go, oh, you got it, babe? Or does he step in and stand up for you and go, hey, this isn't a conversation that needs to happen right now. Rack off. Stop talking about this. Leave her alone. You can talk to me if you have problems about the decision we made or whatever with her, and just protects you. Like, you go have a margarita. I'm gonna deal with this for you. Protects, shields.
Yeah.
Every guy will have an experience where he fails at that. So women don't feel like he's not husband material if he fails once or twice. But does he change? Did you communicate to him that was disgusting, that was cowardly, that was repulsive? I need you to look out for me.
Yeah.
And then he shows a pattern of actually standing up for you. He needs to show the pattern of being able to do that for you.
This is important because if he can't stand up to you and he can't stand up for you, then you're going to be the one getting up in the middle of the night when you hear the door open.
Yeah.
You know,
Problems
and
come up, he's going to let you deal with it.
that's right. He's not going to stand up for you. And there's only so many times you can be like, oh, I understand where he's coming from. Yeah, you understand it because you're a woman.
Don't make excuses
That's why
for
you
him.
don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But-
Be understanding, but don't make excuses for him, right?
Yeah.
So there's he needs to be able to stand up for you.
Yeah.
Has he shown you that?
Yeah.
Because there will be opportunities to.
Can I just elaborate one more thing on that?
I would love you to.
Is his mum. He needs to be able to stand up to his mum. If he cannot stand up to his mum, that's going to cause...
On who's coming to the wedding,
Yeah.
on where you're spending Christmas, on...
There will be thousands of instances before you get to the end of the aisle where he will have opportunities to stand up to relatives or his mum before you get to the end of the aisle. And if he's repeatedly deferring to your mum's judgment over you while you're dating and before you get married and while you're engaged, that's a massive red flag.
Yeah.
And I will say passionately that the most common issue people have in their marriages is the husband's mum, is a lack of boundaries between the mum and the husband. And we see that a lot of the times there's this thing called an enmeshment where she will have an unhealthy emotional relationship with him, where she'll tell him, all of her problems while he's a child, emotional issues, intimacy issues,
like little boy
friendship
becomes a
issues.
therapist.
Yeah. And it'll be things like, oh, he's my best friend. He's the daughter I never had. He's my confidant. He's my, red flag, big red flag. Yeah. And if he acknowledges it, this isn't terminal because there's lots of people I know who are married who have mother-in-laws like this. It's not terminal by any means, but he needs to be aware of it. If he refuses to see it, he is going to always choose his mum over you. So when his mum is showing up in the middle of the night saying, I have a problem, I want to speak to my son, he's not going to say, go home, mum. I'll call you in the morning. He's going to say, okay, mum, come into my bed. Let me talk to you about it.
A marriage of three. Husband, wife, and mother-in-law.
And it's a big problem. So that's just something to keep an eye on, to keep to consider. But if he won't stick up to his mum for you, he's not going to do it for a burglar. He's not going to do it to the government. He's not going to do it to anyone. And the reason it's a big red flag is because he's a coward. That shows that he is a coward, and he's being self-preserving in not standing up to his mum and not standing up for you. You don't want to marry a coward. You want to marry a guy who's
Yeah, well. And the other thing is that the other check is that he needs to be able to stand up to you.
Absolutely.
Right? If he can't say no to you on where are the boundaries of where we're touching.
Yep.
Oh, but why don't you love me? Why don't you spend more time with me? I need to work. I'll see you on our on our date, right? Emotional needs, making you make bad. She was going to want to make you make bad decisions because she has desires or wants or needs or whatever.
Yep.
That happens in every relationship. If he cannot say to you, hey, here's the principles, here's my convictions, or here's the scripture's teachings, we're sticking on this, and I love you, I'm going to be as gentle as I can be, but no, if he can't stand up to you, or even sometimes correct, he's just stood up for you, and then later on he'll say, hey, I'm not going to pile on with them. They were wrong for doing that. I think you could have avoided that a little bit better.
Yeah.
Here's some wisdom principles. And if you blow up and how dare you, don't talk to me like this. You're just like, oh, my dad was blah, blah, blah. And he immediately crumbles. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean anything. Oh, I'm so sorry. You're perfect. You're perfect. No, he needs to be able to stand up to you. And that's one of the tests that he will be able to stand up for you.
Yeah.
But you will be one of the temptations often throughout marriage and life that, like Adam, he needed to stand up for Eve against the devil in the garden. He also needed to stand up to Eve, and he didn't. And God rebuked him literally for that. The first thing he's rebuked for, you listened to the voice of your wife. And of course, contextually, it's the voice of your wife over scripture. She was contradicting God, and you listen to her. Why? Well, because she was hot, she was naked, she's the only girl on the planet. Because she had things you wanted, and you preferred her over God, and ultimately that was cowardice. That was beta male activity. So, and the thing is, take like boundaries, sexual boundaries, intimacy boundaries before being married. You guys are presently unmarried. If he shows you or she shows you lack of self-control, they are showing you what they think of the marriage bed. Okay. So if you are unmarried and he is willing to put his hands on a girl he's not married to, guess what? In a couple of years when you're married, he will still be willing to put his hand on a girl he's not married to.
Yeah.
So marriage doesn't fix everything and make you go, oh, well, now we can sleep together and neither of us will ever have sinful sexual desires. Nope. Your flesh inside you just changed the target. Now it's gone for other women.
This loops back to pornography as well. Like pornography isn't I desire sex.
Yeah, actually, I
and
forget
when I get married, I'm not going to struggle with pornography anymore.
Yeah, I can't believe we haven't actually spoken about that yet. Yeah, but if he's watching pornography with regularity or, like in any kind of pattern, boom, you're out. No pornography at all. Yeah. Absolutely no.
Because the issue isn't a desire for sex,
no,
which can get filled by marriage.
We'll fix this by getting married. No way. Like I'll fulfill his pornographic desire by getting married and sleeping with him. Doubt it. Nope. No, he doesn't want. No, that he doesn't want holistic, monogamous, God-glorifying sex. If he did, he wouldn't be watching porn. Yeah, that's right. He has lusts that he's not presently controlling. So when you're married, he'll either just keep on going to porn or other women. That lust, it's not just a sex fulfillment; it's a lust fulfillment.
It's a fulfillment of illicit sex.
Yeah, that's right.
Sex that you're not meant to have.
Yeah, that's
and this is why
desire.
People who commit adultery repeatedly do it, because once they're in a relationship with the person that they've, had an affair with, it's not illicit anymore. It's not fun anymore. Yeah. It doesn't give you the high of sin anymore.
Yeah. Women,
and that's why men look at,
house wreckers or whatever they're called, home wreckers. They'll sleep with the dude on the side of his marriage. Yeah. They'll be the girl, the side chick. He'll break up with his wife. He'll move in with his, side chick. Yeah. Guess what? Now you're the wife he's going to cheat on. Yeah. Because he's addicted to, he gets the high out of not having regularity. He loves the novelty. Yeah. He's going to find another side chick. This happens all
And this is why
time.
Men who are married, who were addicted to pornography before, will be like, my wife's just not like my hand.
She's not doing it for me. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because
of course
you've fried a lot of the wires inside of you and you've destroyed your appetite.
You've fed the lust for illicit sex. And so that's why pornography is such an issue. But once again, it links back to self-control and self-discipline.
All right. We've given people a lot of things to think about here. Maybe one more idea, one more thought, one more red flag they should watch out for.
Yeah. So we've talked about the red flag of like mother-in-laws and stuff like that. One other red flag that's kind of hard to differentiate, but I think it's something that is really important is
if he keeps interrupting you. No, I'm just kidding. Go.
If he's a victim. Or if she's a victim, you can't have a functional marriage with somebody who's fully accepted a victim identity, because it's not something that's happened to them. It's an identity that they've accepted. expected.
And will bring to every situation.
Every single situation. Yeah. And the problem with a victim is in marriage, you need accountability and responsibility. You need to take responsibility for the things you do and your responsibilities, which is your marriage. And a victim who is in a victim mindset cannot take responsibility because
a victim can never be a perpetrator.
No, that's right.
This happens to me. I'm a victim.
just always
People do
happens
these
to
things.
me.
You know, they're not gonna take responsibility and say this was my fault because I'm a victim. No, things happen to me. I'm always passive.
And the thing is about victims is that they think they're the only person in the world who's had something bad happen to them.
Oh yeah.
And they think everybody that's had anything bad happen to them is exactly like me. Like that's completely categorically false.
Yeah.
I know a woman who has had the most horrendous life. Awful, awful, awful life involving murder, sexual abuse, all of that stuff. And she never mentions it. Never once. She is one of the most productive, accomplished, amazing mothers, generous, all of those things. So she's a wonderful woman and she is not a victim. In fact, she's very proud of the fact that she's not a victim.
Being a victim is not.
It's not. It has nothing to do with what's been done to you.
It has nothing to do with you actually being a victim.
No.
Having a victim mindset is about you making everything into a victim.
Yeah,
It's
look
your what happened
identity.
to me. I still know people who talk about COVID as if it happened to them. Because I was like, I lost my job during COVID. So things have been downhill since then. I'm like, you know that 90% of the population lost their job during COVID, right? Like,
Yeah.
No, well, when I was only like 19 when COVID hit. So that really ruined everything. I'm like, your entire generation was 19 when COVID, what are you talking about?
But yeah, so this is the issue because once people accept that they're a victim, there is no accountability you can give them.
Nah.
So if you tell them you need to repent, they say, you're abusing me.
That's what my bully said to me back in
my
last church.
If you say, here's some scripture to get you back in line, they'll say, stop Bible bashing me.
My therapist said that you would be spiritually abusive like this.
Stop bulldozing me. You're just throwing scripture at me. Like,
yeah.
no, I'm giving you accountability.
Yeah.
You know, you
Well, one of the things that for a godly woman, victimhood and a guy who wants pity is repulsive and should be repulsive.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people...
She wants a guy who can get punched in the mouth, spit his teeth out, stand up and go, I'm here for my family. Is everyone else okay?
Yeah.
Not who will crawl up into a fetal position and want her to pat his back.
Protect me.
Yeah, please, my life is hard for me. She knows life is hard. A great wife will have warm dinner for you, will be your bedfellow, will be your biggest supporter, but she wants to do that for a guy who she knows isn't going to come home with a list of hardships from the day and my day was hard, there was traffic and there was this, and my boss got mean towards me and people didn't say thanks enough. You know what? Yeah, like women don't want to sleep with a quasi-son.
No.
That's a very healthy thing.
No.
And if you're being a baby, she's not going to be attracted to you. She's not going to be drawn to you, magnetized towards you. You're not going to have a gravity that pulls you. You're going to repel.
Yeah.
So,
and the thing is about a victim...
And with women as well. Women get away with being victims a lot because...
Yeah, they do. I would be very, very suspicious of somebody who the first couple of times you talk to them tells you the reasons why they're a victim in life.
Yeah, why things are hard. Tell me about your life.
I've had a hard life. I've had hard things happen in life.
My struggle started when I was, No.
My mom and dad got divorced.
Yeah, and that's a general thing as well. You can even be like, just think about somebody. Like, usually when you're around you, are they uplifting? Are they going, man, God's good. This stuff's happening. I'm aiming at this. I'm trying to do this. How are you? Or is it always another hard week?
Yeah.
Weather hit 29 degrees again this week. Oh man.
Tires are getting low, and I have no money.
Fuel's expensive. Like, wow. Yeah. Well, your life sucks. You got to find somebody. The Lord commands us rejoice. There is enough things in life to rejoice about.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean if you get melancholic or have bad, it doesn't mean everybody's as chipper as each other, but you cannot marry a complainer.
You can't.
Don't marry a complainer.
You can't because one day
life's hard enough.
They're gonna complain about you.
Yeah.
And the same thing with a victim. You marry a victim, one day you'll be the perpetrator. You're going to be the abuser in some way. And victims, because something bad has happened to them and the world has happened to them, the world has hurt them, then they feel a moral entitlement to do whatever they want to prevent them being hurt again.
Yeah, what do they call it? Victim
moral superiority or something like that.
Moral,
Infallibility.
no, something.
Yeah.
They're entitlement, moral entitlement.
Yeah, moral
they go,
entitlement.
since I'm a victim, I'm allowed to gossip more.
Yeah.
Because I got hurt. So,
Yeah.
I'm allowed to tell everybody what happened to me.
It protects people.
Well, actually, what happened to me was I got hurt by a man in my life. Therefore, I'm allowed to be quite, not misogynistic. What's the other way?
Misandronistic.
Yeah, misandronistic.
Yeah.
I'm allowed, I got divorced by, real piece of work, Sheila, so I'm allowed to be a misogynist and call women dogs and whatever.
Yeah.
I was actually spiritually abused once. So not all of the Bible's commands actually apply to me. I'm actually quite a special person that you're in the presence of here. And I'm allowed to wiggle around the Bible because the Bible was used to hurt me once.
That's right. And when you're married to somebody like that, they're not going to submit to your elders because the elders are more abusing, controlling people. They're not going to submit to scripture because scripture doesn't apply to them because they're a victim.
No, scripture is nowhere near as specific.
No, of course not. There's scripture is way
God
too...
would get it. God doesn't want me to obey scripture. He wants me to look after myself.
And that's why, and you just can't marry somebody like that. It's not functional.
So maybe closing out, one of the big things is somebody, the person you're pursuing, she needs to be somebody who is regular and respected, but not necessarily leading, but regular and accepted and involved in whatever church they're at. Maybe it's your church.
That's the best. That's the best safety net.
Look, on all of if it's a good church, fair church, they should be there. They should be there with regularity. They should be serving. They should be generous. You should be able to find a few people within their spiritual circles who can say, they're amazing. He's great. He's generous. He's helped me with this. She's awesome. She does this. She cooks for that person. If this person is like, I'm not really big on church, there's 100 reasons why that won't really click out. First of all, being they're not even a basically mature Christian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I reckon let's just leave it there. There's loads more to say. Maybe we'll do round 2 another day.
Yeah.
Okay, people throw in their questions and we'll get
For
to
sure.
some of them. But
there's just a lot there for you to chew on.
yeah, chew on. All right, marinate on that a little bit.
And you can always just ask us. We can do a Q&A. Q&A on marriage and spouses.
There you go. Finding
Send through your
somebody.
questions. Yeah.
So one of the things I say to guys and gals, it's not usually one or the other. I say, lower your bar for dating. Mm-hmm. Maintain, maybe increase your bar for marriage.
Yeah.
But lower your bar for dating.
Yeah.
Because going on a date doesn't mean you're going to marry him.
No.
Going on a date doesn't mean you've made a commitment. But a lot of people close themselves off to all of these gals, all of these guys. Oh, no, they're probably like this. I don't even want to sit down for coffee with them. Like, you know what? You're probably not as high a catch as you think you are.
Yeah, I think that's both girls and boys.
You're not as much of a catch.
Both unmarried people think that they're more of a catch than they are.
Yeah.
And you're like, you need a...
Yeah, lower your bar for dating. Right down to the bare minimums. Christian, of the opposite sex.
Yep.
Legal adult.
Yep.
Start there.
You don't even need to
If
physically
he has
be
the guts
attracted
to ask
them.
you out,
Yeah.
if she has, if she is willing to say yes, start there. Go on one date, coffee.
And can I just say...
and you might go, they're actually...
super
they're
interesting.
okay,
we have a lot in common. And I
maybe
would have
they
never
are
known
on my
this.
level. Maybe you are on their level.
And can I just say this? For goodness sakes, if you get a date with a girl, you only get the one date. You might only get one date. So buy the flowers. Buy the flowers.
Oh, you know what? Yeah.
The girls will love the flowers. And guys don't want to buy the flowers because if they buy the flowers and the girl doesn't like them and they bought flowers for a girl who didn't like them, just buy the flowers.
Yeah.
It's a date. You might never get another date with that girl. Yeah. The flowers will go a long way. Just treat it like a proper date.
Part of being a man in life, not just in romance, but in jobs and everything, is being willing to get rejected. You got to go out there, take risks, do stuff.
Yeah.
And
don't treat it like we're friends, we're having a coffee, we're just figuring it out.
No, nothing unofficial. Tell her.
Because she'll be
I'm
instantly
interested in dating you.
repulsed. She's going to be repulsed by this guy. Like, oh, he's taking me on a date, but he's treating me like a guy.
Yeah, girls don't need friends.
That's like a huge off-putting. Don't make her pick you up for the date.
No.
For goodness sake, don't do that.
Don't ride your e-scooter.
Don't
catch the bus.
Take an Uber. At least take an Uber. But present your absolute best chance. If a girl gives you a date, present your absolute best that you can. I don't mean like a 3-piece suit. You don't need to do the 3-piece suit, but present your absolute best because you got one date.
Yeah. Put your best foot forward. So lower your standard for dating down to some minimums.
Yes.
Some essential minimums and see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
And and then ask wise people, married people around you, what do you think about this person? Here's what they do. Here's how they answer this question.
And ask people whose marriage you admire. as well.
Say, hey,
don't,
what do you guys
Don't
reckon?
ask somebody who you know has a tumultuous marriage what their advice is on a husband.
And be humble enough and honest with yourself enough to ask married people who are older than you, ask them, what could I work on to be more attractive, not physically attractive only, that might be something, but also how can I be more attractional, more inviting for women, or more acceptable for women, or more inviting for a man to ask me out? What could I do? And, wince as they give you their advice. All right, sweet. Well, let's leave it there. We love that Jesus is saving people.
Yep.
Jesus and what marriage looks like and who you should be marrying cannot just be accepted common knowledge anymore.
Yep.
So you want to marry a Christian, we are praying for you. And whoever is listening to this, we hope it's been helpful.
I expect to see at least a few more couples sitting together at church on Sunday.
Oh, you're looking for immediate fruit on this. Okay, I get it.
I'm joking.
Okay, we want a wedding by year's end. Okay. Well, Jesus died for sinners. So if you are a sinner, you have open arms of God inviting you in to be forgiven in Jesus Christ. And beyond that, there is a world of amazing blessings God gives us in this life to glorify Him and to serve His kingdom. One of those is marriage. So we're praying for you.
Absolutely.
And we'll catch you next episode.